Title deeds and ownership. Objectives. The objectives of this chapter are to be able to quickly identify title complications in a short sale transaction, to understand the title issues affecting the marketability of a property, to avoid creating transactional complications that may slow or even terminate a transaction, and to understand that the best way to accomplish this is by dominating the subject of ownership over a property. Foreclosure and title problems. A pending foreclosure is a title problem because unpaid secured creditors can exercise rights over a property. If default continues, ownership rights will be affected. Properties themselves do not create foreclosure problems. People create foreclosure problems. A property's title condition reflects the state of the relationships among the people with interests over the property. Properties are in foreclosure because people are not cooperating. Title documents reflect people's state of agreement or disagreement. All this hinders the marketability of a property. Dealing with properties in foreclosure means dealing with people and title problems. Divorce is a good example. A couple has marital problems. As a result, one spouse stops contributing towards the home loan payments. A creditor is no longer getting paid. Now there are 3 people in the situation. One spouse disagrees with selling. If there is a buyer, no title insurance will be issued unless both sign. Lenders do not finance properties without title insurance, so the property can't be sold. Thus, people problems create title problems. Title and deed. The best way to resolve and prevent further problems is to understand the title, deeds, and ownership. Title. Title is the right of possession or ownership of real property. An owner is entitled to his or her property. The owner has title to it. Title is not a document. Title is a legally enforceable right. Title is granted from one party to another. Title to property includes legal responsibilities. Title deed. A title deed is a written instrument that transfers title of land from one party to another. Title deeds are commonly referred to as just deeds. To simplify, a deed is written evidence of ownership. To be valid, a deed must be correctly drafted. Although disputes may arise, destruction of the deed does not affect title. The deed is a document. The title is a right. Deed recording is not essential to validity, but the loss of an unrecorded deed may result in loss of title. For the deed to be validly recorded, it must be properly entered in the chain of title. Chain of title. Chain of title is the historic sequence of title transfers of a property. It is called a chain of title because it shows the connected lineup of owners in chronological order and how much was paid for the property. The chain of title also shows the complete history of encumbrances. In the U.S., complete chains of title go all the way back to the formation of the colonies or the federal annexation of the land. A deed invalidly recorded in the chain of title is called a wild deed and rarely affects present title condition of a property. Title defects are unresolved claims evident in the chain of title. Title defects are also called title clouds. For example, statutory liens are title clouds. Title clouds affect title insurability. If there is enough risk, and it does not have to be much, title companies may consider the title uninsurable. Properties with uninsurable title lose marketability and value because lenders do not consider them reliable collateral. Title insurance. Title insurance is an insurance against loss caused by title defects. It is a guarantee of rightful ownership. Title insurance protects against past title defects as per the date the policy is issued. It covers both the owner and the lender. An owner with title insurance over a property is said to have marketable title to it. Marketable title is one that can be sold reasonably free of litigation. Lenders finance only properties with marketable title because they are good collateral. Lenders and chain of title. In addition to requiring title insurance, lenders closely scrutinize chain of title for two main issues: short-term ownership, which is called seasoning, and large resale price difference. As of the date this material was produced, November 2007, lenders that resell debt to the FHA require a minimum of 90 days ownership between sales. In addition, some lenders will not finance properties with combined short-term ownership and a large purchase price difference. Investors owning short-term must avoid this potential impasse by identifying a buyer's source of funding early. Seasoning problems tend to kill transactions at the last moment. Three important terms commonly used in the short sale business are title condition, deeding a property, and subject to. Title condition. Title condition is the present state of ownership and interest over a property. The present title condition is often not the same as at issuance of the title insurance policy. Any new encumbrance recording is a change of title condition. Examples of change in title condition are a second mortgage, an NOD, and ownership transferring by deeding. Deeding of title. It is the transfer of title over a property outside of escrow and without issuance of new title insurances. This is often referred to as getting the property deeded or getting the deed. The intention of getting the deed is to purchase the property subject to. This means that the owner changes, but the existing financing remains in place. The arrangement is typically that the new owner will keep and pay the existing mortgage. In principle, there is nothing wrong with taking a property subject to, but it has to be done right because there are risks for both the seller and the buyer. Deeding of title, seller risks. Loss of ownership and control. Continued legal obligation to perform on the debt secured by the property because the loan is still in his or her name. Reliance on the buyer as a new owner for paying the loan. If the buyer defaults, the seller will be foreclosed. Buyer risks. Legal liability for anything that may happen to, on, and in the property. A creditor may call the loan. Most loans have a due on sale clause, meaning that the debt may be called due upon ownership transfer. If this happens, the new owner may have to sell in a hurry to avoid foreclosure. This subject is covered in more detail later. Some sellers do not take this type of sale seriously and change their mind. This can result in litigation. Finally, there is no title insurance. Short sale title problems and solutions. Title red flags. There are three main title red flags in the world of short sales: unprofessional title transfers, divorce-caused title transfers, amateur title holding trusts. Unprofessional title transfers. In principle, there is nothing wrong with purchasing subject to existing financing. In fact, it is a common and effective exit strategy, which will be presented in detail later. However, often when short sales are needed for properties that have been taken subject to, it is because of unprofessional behavior. This is often the result of an amateur investor's miscalculation or unscrupulous investors. The actions of difficult original owners are also a cause. The solution to this is to, if there is time, undo the entanglement. This means as much as possible to take title back to the original condition, then start the short sale. If there is less than 100% cooperation, do a different project. Divorce-caused title transfers. When a couple separates, their relationship is reflected in the title condition of the property. Typically, when a couple divorces, as a result of the divorce settlement, one spouse keeps the property and the other quit-claims the property. And quite commonly, the property does not get refinanced. They are both still obligated to the loan they committed together. As a result, now they are both in foreclosure because one of them defaulted. The solution to this is to have both spouses collaborate 100% with the short sale, because both are in foreclosure. Often bitterness will get in the way. If there is less than 100% cooperation, do another project. Amateur title holding trusts. Title holding trusts are used for controlling properties. In principle, there is nothing wrong with trusts. However, trusts created by amateurs can irreversibly cloud a title. That is often the reason title companies refuse to insure title on such properties. The solution to this is to unravel the trust. This may require expensive legal services. Again, if there is less than 100% cooperation, do another project. One of the best ways to understand title documents is to analyze them. For more information, consult a real estate dictionary. Owner's Policy of Title Insurance. This is an owner's policy of title insurance. By the way, there is also a lender's counterpart to this document. Owner's Policy of Title Insurance. Most title insurance covers the following: title to the state or interest, in other words, challenges of ownership, defects in lien or encumbrance, marketability of title, lack of access. Warranty deed. In warranty deed, the seller legally assures to the buyer that the title conveyed is good and possession will be undisturbed. There are several types of warranty deed variations. This sample is a special warranty deed, statutory form. Bargain and sale deed. In a bargain and sale deed, the seller does not provide any warranties to the buyer. Grant deed. Grant deeds are mostly used in California. The seller warrants that the property was not sold to another buyer before or at the same time. In short sales, usually the presence of partnership deeds, interspousal deeds, quitclaim deeds, and other similar instruments indicates potential disagreements between owners. This is an estoppel deed, also known as deed in lieu of foreclosure. Estoppel deed. Estoppel deeds are often misunderstood and thus misused. Estoppel definition. An estoppel is the prevention of one from asserting a legal right because of prior actions inconsistent with the assertion. This is how an estoppel deed works. In an estoppel deed, or deed by estoppel, the owner grants the property to the foreclosing creditor. If the creditor becomes the owner of the property, the creditor is prevented from foreclosing. Thus the term deed in lieu of foreclosure. Only creditors can get a deed in lieu of foreclosure. Estoppel deeds are often misused. For example, and this is almost unbelievable, but it happens, a homeowner may estoppel deed a property to a buyer so that the other person gets foreclosed. This is a good estoppel deed example. It reads, estoppel deed, mortgage, or trust deed. For the cancellation of the notes and the indebtedness secured by the mortgage or trust deed, the first party does hereby grant unto the second party the following real property. This means that in exchange for debt cancellation, the property owner grants ownership to the creditor. Review. To have title to a property means to be the owner. A deed is a document that demonstrates ownership. Foreclosure is a title problem. People's relationships affect a property's title condition. Title condition affects the marketability of a property. The most common title problems are unprofessional title transfers, divorce-caused transfers, and amateur title holding deeds. Most title problems are resolved by fixing people's problems. Invest in solving title problems only if there is 100% collaboration. There are several types of deeds.